one can't help but look up in wonder at the scale and scope of human ingenuity. Nearly 830 meters tall, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai was built to grab the world's attention. A beacon of glass and steel, the tallest building on the planet dominates the skyline of the most populous city in the United Arab Emirates. It stands as a symbol of the city's rapid rise.
There's always something hyperbolic about Dubai's approach to projects. You do it to become an icon, to have an iconic landmark, something that people remember, something that draws a crowd. There's an old saying, if you build it, they will come. And there's an element of that perhaps the rulers knew as they undertook some of these projects.
It was a vision made of skyscrapers, artificial islands, and luxury living. And despite a real estate crash that hit the city 8 years ago, this remains a land of breakneck development and constant transformation.
If you are a manufacturing economy or a purely oil-dependent economy, then global shifts and global volatility in demand can actually very much derail your growth. Dubai is reinventing itself in even shorter generational cycles. Let's say of every 5 years, they're doing something new.
It's really the survival of the fittest. The strength comes in that ability to readapt quickly.
As Dubai's rulers reach for even greater heights, we chart the evolution of one of the fastest growing cities on Earth and find out what's next for this 21st century vision in the desert. For many of us, Dubai seemed to arrive on the world stage fully formed. An instant global metropolis, complete with a futuristic skyline and record-setting skyscrapers. In about 5 decades, what was once a sleepy outpost in the desert has risen to become one of the most visited and most talked about cities in the world.
Historically, cities emerge organically. It takes 1,000 years to become London. It takes centuries to become New York. It takes millennia to become Rome. And Dubai has been an organic emergence that's simply gone very, very quickly in the past generation because of global markets, particularly energy and transshipment. There is one view that, of course, this has all happened way too quickly. It's been breakneck urban development and construction and real estate in a very volatile context.
I think Dubai creates its own city. We learn from the great cities, but we also sort of craft our own image and also our own benchmarks. There are certainly things that we could do better. There are certainly things that we could learn from others to continue to improve. But I think it's about wanting to be the best that you could possibly be. And I think that's what drives us as well.
To understand Dubai's rapid rise, we have to look to its past. Long before oil and gas, Dubai depended on the sea, and evidence of the city's maritime history can be found here at the creek.
The creek is where it all began. The international trading relationships that have made Dubai the global gateway that it is today, that all began here in the creek.
Historian Peter Hellier has lived in the UAE for over 40 years. He is passionate about the country's seafaring heritage and believes the history of the Gulf state is often misunderstood.
A lot of people look from overseas and think that before oil, there was nothing here. That just isn't true. There is also a very fundamental element of a maritime relationship. There's always been a trade of little boats crossing the Arabian Gulf, going to Iran, nearby parts of Pakistan, as they do today. But it's not just been within the Arabian Gulf. There are records from China of Arabs from the southern Gulf reaching all the way to Canton 2,000 years ago.
For centuries, the creek was the home of Bedouin fishermen, and pearl diving was the mainstay of the Dubai economy. Foreign trade started flowing in 100 years ago when the emirate abolished all custom duties on imports, opening up Dubai to merchants from the region and beyond.
These towers we have here are the famous wind towers of Dubai. These towers mark the movement of families from Iran at the end of the 19th century who brought the trading skills to Dubai. And this is when Dubai really began to grow. I do love looking at the boats along the creek in Dubai, moving around in this part of the Indian Ocean as they have done for hundreds of years.
While thousands of dhows still navigate the creek, they are being replaced by larger commercial ships, which can better satisfy the demand of a fast-growing city. As their role diminishes, so does the art of making these wooden vessels. What remains of the craft can be found in Jadaf, Dubai's historic shipbuilding quarter. Here, third-generation dhow builder Ahmed Obeid is adding the finishing touches to the world's largest wooden dhow.
احنا بوتنا كانوا في الغوص، يدودنا كانوا في البحر، وعاشوا ناس عاشوا عيشة تعبانة. من هاي الناحية بدينا نسوي الشغلة هذه وبدينا نبني المحمل هذا على أساس إنه في طموح، في حب للشغلة هاي. فهي عادة أصبحت عادة تمشي في الدم في العروق.
Aside from an electric woodcutter and a few basic tools, this vessel has been built by hand. Following a design and traditional techniques Ahmed learned from his father.
تعلمناها، ما في عندنا احنا مهندسين، ما عندنا احنا خرائط نشتغل عليها، هي كلها شغلة كلها بالخبرة، وهي فنية أكثر عما تكون هندسية.
A modern adaptation, Ahmed is adding steel to the wooden structure. This dhow will be larger and stronger than a traditional one, and it will be able to carry 4 times as much cargo in and out of Dubai's docks. Like other dhow traders, Ahmed has to adapt his craft in the hope to find new markets.
أول كانت الشغلة معتمدة على 4 أو 5 خطوط، أصبح الحين حالياً من دبي لين اليمن، من دبي لين الصومال، عندك خطين بس لا أكثر ولا أقل. هاي شغلتنا، شغلة أبوتنا، شغلة أجدادنا، فما نقدر نتركها.
Ahmed wishes to honor the legacy of his forefathers by earning a place in the Guinness Book of Records.
نبغي دائما ننظر للمقولة مال الشيخ محمد بن راشد، يقول احنا انا وشعبي نحب الرقم 1، فاحنا نبغي ندخل تراثنا، ندخل مصنعنا، ندخل اسم ابونا، ندخل اسم بلادنا، مجموعة Guinness Book of Records.
It's the embodiment of a vision and ambition that has underlined Dubai's growth and transformation for decades.
The UAE likes to be noticed. It's not just building tall buildings like the Burj Khalifa, it's building a new way of doing things. It's capitalizing on the history, on the heritage of the past, to see how can that be used. If you don't have the ambition, then you're just not going to achieve things. Dubai certainly has ambition, as does the rest of the United Arab Emirates.
Daybreak. A container vessel is navigating the narrow channel towards the port of Jebel Ali. At over 400 meters long, this ship can carry up to 18,000 containers, making it one of the largest of its kind. Before long, ship-to-shore cranes are on the move, ushering goods destined for Dubai, the most populous city in the United Arab Emirates, and beyond.
We have 6 cranes working at the time actually, and this one is not picking a single container, it's picking 2 containers. We call this process as a tandem. It's taking 2 at a time. You have to do it within 2 minutes or less.
Time is of the essence, And at peak efficiency, a single crane can handle about 50 containers per hour.
The process has to be within a time frame, making sure that the vessel will leave on to the next port.
Jebel Ali is the biggest man-made harbour in the world and the busiest port in the Middle East, servicing a regional market of 2 billion people.
Jebel Ali is the new creek, the 21st century industrial postmodern version of the creek. And the fact that it is in such a central geography, that it is the crossroads of Europe, of Africa, and of Asia, is extremely significant.
The industry changes where if you really looked at it 20 years ago, the ships were much smaller. Jebel Ali today can handle whatever sizes of ships which exist here. And not only one, it can handle 10 of them, for example, which nobody else in the region can do that.
Four decades ago, Jebel Ali was nothing but a sandy desert along the shallow waters of the Gulf. As Dubai rapidly developed, fueled by revenues from the oil industry, its ruler, Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum, had a vision: to transform the maritime infrastructure and build a port that would ensure future prosperity for the emirate.
It was a major event in Dubai, and many people came. I came as a child here. We knew it was going to be a port, but nobody knew the magnitude. The international media called this project the white elephant. This is too big for Dubai. Dubai doesn't need it. It will not succeed.
Despite widespread skepticism, works for the $2.5 billion project started in 1976, when the first dredger began to eat its way across the sand dunes.
It was built different than other ports. Other ports are reclaimed in the sea. Jebel Ali was dredged in the land. This is the attitude of Dubai.
Trade started flowing in, fueling the growth of the emirate. Jebel Ali port and the adjacent free trade zone now account for 20% of Dubai's GDP. But slower global trends in maritime trade mean plans to build a fourth terminal have been put on hold.
Investments in ports, you're not doing it for a year or two. And we know the cycle of growth will continue. Yes, it's slow for this year, maybe next year, but when we are building ports, we are building for the next 50 to 60 years.
Dubai is one of the fastest growing cities in the history of the world. Its population is doubling every 10 to 15 years. It's now reached a resident population of more than 2.5 million people, whereas in the 1970s it was only about 500,000 people. So the combination of the oil economy plus Jebel Ali is what kicked off this spectacular rise demographically and economically.
It was in Jebel Ali that Dubai's first free trade zone was set up, cementing the role of the city as a hub for international trade. Since then, a network of free zones have emerged, granting beneficial regulations to international companies. Shipping giant Maersk set up a state-of-the-art training facility in 2015.
We wanted to be one of the first ones to set up something like this so everything can be had in the region.
Okay. So this is like the handbrake and port. This is like this port. Okay.
This is probably one of half a dozen such facility anywhere in the world. We can do team-based training and train people from maritime and oil and gas sector. The major advantages for us being inside a free zone is primarily being a subsidiary of the parent company. It was just very easy for us to get started and get going. And this specific free zone in Dubai South is right next to the new airport that is coming up. So for us, being right next to an airport within this free zone, it was quite attractive.
Many companies who have been established the last 20 years in Dubai have grown from a very humble, small size to really they have become global and become big, and they are dealing in billions of dollars. Last year we have handled around $300 billion, just the trade value. That shows how much trade takes place.
Underpinned by international trade and investment in innovation, Dubai's evolution continues. But beyond the skyscrapers, can the emirate build a lasting legacy?
There's a big debate about whether the people who live in Dubai really want to stay in Dubai. Is it a place that is a permanent home or a residency? In terms of key performance indicators of public service delivery and ease of doing business and improving mobility and transportation, yes, those boxes are being ticked. But are they ticking the box of creating a common culture, a sense of belonging?
From sand to skyscrapers, the skyline of Dubai tells a story of ambition and breakneck growth.
There's always something hyperbolic about Dubai's approach to projects. You do it to become an icon, something that people remember, something that draws a crowd. And remember that it has worked. The Dubai Mall, by some estimates, is the most visited building every year on the planet Earth. There is an old saying, if you build it, they will come. And there's an element of that perhaps the rulers knew as they undertook some of these projects.
Yet more bold projects are emerging to fulfill Dubai's goal to become the most visited city by 2020. Perhaps the most ambitious, Dubai Creek Harbour will include brand new property developments and $1 billion tower, which will surpass the city's own Burj Khalifa. The ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is building for a population that doesn't yet exist, in one of the most arid regions on Earth.
There are many things that haven't been done to cope with the reality of rapid growth. But remember that unlike other cities, Dubai is not challenged by space. They are attempting to build further and further out into the desert. So long as they can have the transportation networks that connect to them, they can continue to grow.
In the south of Dubai, where the city meets the desert, work is underway on what will be the site of Expo 2020, the first World Expo to be held in the Middle East.
Expo 2020 is going to happen when the United Arab Emirates turns 50 years old, where we're going to bring corporate civil society organizations and, most importantly, best practices to Dubai to cross-pollinate and to collaborate with one another. It is about ensuring that this new part of the city properly and adequately responds to the needs of the country, the needs of the region, and creates a long-term sustainable legacy as well.
The site, in true Dubai style, will be a playground for renowned architects, but it's a vision that goes much deeper than glitzy architecture. The idea is for Expo to be a catalyst for innovation, with the aim to attract yet more international talent and resources to the city.
Talent is a very important, finite resource. To attract the best, to build the best, you have to create the right setup and the right infrastructure for that. I think we can continuously look at how we embed innovation, and we're starting to do that in a strong way now.
Innovation is all about adaptation. There is very little new that's invented here in terms of advanced technology goods. There is not an Arab version of Google, but that's not the right question. Innovation is about saying, can I take the Uber model and localize it?
And that's exactly what Mudassir Sheikha has done. After a stint in California's Silicon Valley, the Pakistan-born entrepreneur moved to Dubai to co-found Careem, a high-end car booking service.
One of the reasons that I came to Dubai was the same reason many people have come to Dubai, that it is a safe and secure place. It has a very advanced infrastructure, both social and physical, and it is very well connected with the rest of the region.
The startup was founded in 2012 when Uber, the global car booking company, had yet to enter the market here. With a first mover advantage, Mudassir and co-founder Magnus Olsson had a chance to create a service tailored to the needs of the population of the UAE and to apply the same model to 10 countries in the Middle East and North Africa.
Here we're going after, 3, 4, 5 new cities?
Exciting. In most parts of the region, we don't have good maps, good addressing systems that you might find quite handily in Europe or the US. And it's a big challenge to operate a service like ours without a reliable mapping system. So we've had to go out and build our own locations database that makes it easier for our customers and our captains to find locations and find each other.
With a user base of 6 million customers and a network of 150,000 drivers, Careem has become the largest ride-hailing platform and one of only 2 billion-dollar startups or unicorns in the region.
When we started the business in 2012, it was quite expensive to start a business, and it still is a bit expensive, but the region has cheered us as a local homegrown story and as a local homegrown champion. And that help has come in many different ways, all the way from helping us with ideas, helping us open doors, helping us with funding, helping us with pretty much anything that we needed help with.
Crucial to Karim's success was a slew of investors like Fadi Gandour, chairman of Wonder Capital, the region's largest seed-stage investment fund.
We look for entrepreneurs that have a good team, that have a good technology, that have proven that there is a business model that addresses a challenge in the market. So Karim has created for itself an innovative environment so that it can compete with the Ubers of this world and actually differentiate itself and actually be a leader in the market. So a regional brand that has gone global, that makes people proud, a team of talented people from across the region. But this is the story of Dubai. Dubai is about multinational talent that comes and exercises its capabilities and its skills and its ambitions.
Dubai's future growth will be determined by its ability to attract the very best talent, attracted not just by job opportunities, but the quality of life the city has to offer.
In terms of key performance indicators of public service delivery and ease of doing business and improving mobility and transportation, yes, those boxes are being ticked. But are they ticking the box of creating a common culture, a sense of belonging? Dubai used to be a place that everyone flew over, but now it's a place that everyone flies through. People stop, people connect here, people live here, but aren't formal, legal, long-term residents and certainly not citizens.
Foreign nationals dwarf the local population 9-1.
We try to attract people who can raise families here, have a startup, build a business. We believe that there's a level of flexibility that we've put in place that may not necessarily give you a nationality per se, but that still allows for you to have a long-term presence and a comfortable and prosperous presence as well.
For Dubai to continue to succeed in the future, it has to continue to attract new residents, new migrants, new talent. It has to invest in the right things to improve the quality of life, to make sure that there's affordable housing, to make sure there's equity. It has to create a sense of belonging. If it does those things right, and if the region remains politically stable, then it will continue to be a major global hub.